Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time! 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! Float game for the win! Is gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Oh, now, here's Jim Coyle.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you, of course, on another wonderful, beautiful day. Look at this gorgeous weather and a gorgeous background as I am coming to you from a little further north as we're heading to, or at Road America for this weekend's IndyCar races at the premier road course in America. But I hope everyone's having a great day, that you've had a great week. And if not, we're going to end it on a great note and send you into the weekend. Thinking about the people that may have been affected by the tornado that came through the central Indiana area. As a matter of fact, when we were coming through here, I saw, you could see the exact spot where that thing came across I-69. So hopefully it didn't cause too much damage and everybody is doing okay. And that came and went. So, but we've got a fun show headed today. Paul Page is going to join us, an icon, legendary Paul Page, as he is the voice of a generation of Indianapolis 500s. I can't think. I hear his voice on a clip, and it takes you right there. Voice of 1,000 races, much less a generation of Indianapolis 500 calls under his belt. But one of the legends and icons of TV broadcasting. So looking forward to that. Tony Donahue will join us. We'll talk about IndyCar, what we're should be expecting to see there. And let's see, Bill Bender, Brendan Sorsby. Has Texas Tech just really hurt themselves? And if so, how badly? What will it really do? Indiana basketball met with the media yesterday as well, for the first time. So getting the boys out and about. But what a spectacular weekend I hope everyone is going to be having, and hope you have great plans. Father's Day, that's right. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope everyone is going to get to enjoy a good day with that, whether that's doing nothing or getting your tie, getting that new tie that fathers always seem to get. But grilling out, someday fathers still like to do their own grilling. I get that. I could. It depends on who was doing the grilling. If they were good, I'd be fine with it. But yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous day up north, as I like to call it, the Great White North. But it is spectacular. Not a cloud in the sky. And it's supposed to stay that way. Ironically, I can hear the car. I'm not at Road America at this moment. But I can hear cars running over there, which I didn't think that they were going to be running this early this morning, but they're on the track. And it's a very unique 4-mile track. 11 turns or 14. I can't remember which one that is. But either way, I mentioned Al Unser Jr. called it the Indianapolis Motor Speedway of road courses. It's his favorite road course in the country, without question. looking forward to talking to Paul Page about that, but many other things with Paul. Man, just you can't hear his voice without it taking you back to if you ever watched races growing up. I mean, he was the voice of a generation of auto racing, and a great one at that. He's an icon, but still lives here or in the Indy area, I believe. So looking forward to that. And then Tony Donahue will help us get situated on what to expect at Road America. And then, of course, Bill Bender will join us as well. Looking forward to talking to him as always, as we do each and every Friday. Man, what a great Friday it is. And Alec Lasley and both Zach Osterman off on assignments this weekend. So thinking of making sure, hopefully their assignments go well. And it's that time of year now where the basketball team met with the media yesterday, like I said, but then I'm not going to say it goes dark, but it gets quiet. Football recruiting starts to wind down their visits. If they haven't concluded, this might be the last weekend, I believe. So now it becomes that waiting game. And then whatever contact that can't be made, I haven't checked the dates of when you have to stop or if you have to stop, or hell, in this day and age, I wonder, is there even a point, seriously, a point to having rules of when you can talk to somebody, when you can call somebody? I'm like, I mean, we're talking millions of dollars now. And even if that stupid rule is in place, it's a joke because everybody has an agent, and you can't put a rule on who agents can call, what agents can do. Well, I mean, there's certain limitations, I'm sure, but not within the reason of what we're talking about. They're just like coaching jobs. It's the back channeling. Well, there's back channeling and everything. So what's the point of not being able to call or text athletes at certain times? That has almost seemingly become antiquated now. It's almost a pointless thing to have. It's one less thing to worry about. It's probably something they should just do away with. It's just an issue that you don't have to deal with, and because it's a nuisance issue. Who cares? Their agents are talking anyway. You know, if they want to talk, great. If not, tell them, hey, don't call me, or say, hey, I'm on a no call coaches list. They do that a lot with when they hit the transfer portal. So yeah, I think that they should just do that overall now. Otherwise, pointless. There's no reason to not do it. And I don't know if you guys can even hear those cars in the background, but it's kind of cool. It's great background noise. I just by the sound, I can't tell what cars that it is on the track. It's not Indy cars because they're not scheduled to be out there. So it must be one of the lesser series that, and by lesser, I mean not IndyCar or Indy Next series. They, I think NXT practices today. IndyCar will practice tomorrow, I believe, but we'll get all that lined out with Tony D when he joins us, Tony Donahue, to look ahead at this race. Last year was Alex Palou who won this race, and he leads the point standings right now by somewhere in the neighborhood of 52 or 56 points, something like that, which it's not insurmountable, but the guys behind him are going to need some help if they have any plans on catching Mr. Pillow. So we'll see how this race goes. It didn't go well for Alex at St. Louis. Strategy. And these races this year have all been about strategy, it seems, and which that's part of that is fine, but at some point you just let it come down to the racing, and that instead of strategy and tire strategy and fuel strategy, which I know that's part of it all the time, but it would be nice if it just came down to the racing, and which it does most. It did at Indianapolis. I mean, that doesn't get much better. But yeah, we'll see how that works out, and especially on a road course like this, it offers the opportunities to pass, to have lead changes. It gives plenty of opportunities for speed and for passing zones and the braking zones. So looking forward to seeing the uniqueness that Road America brings, getting out and talking to the folks, finding some peeps from the Indiana area, which I'm sure there are tons that I know of people that are coming to the race from down home. Many of them go to almost every IndyCar race, but I talked before about how many of these, amazingly, are within a 7-hour drive. Like there are 9 races in under a 7-hour drive. And the cool thing is, these are some unique places. Road America is an absolutely unique destination. Then you have Nashville on the schedule. Of course, we just were at St. Louis, but St. Pete, Long Beach, some just unique places that if you were able to follow the, go to every race, it would be pretty cool. Down in Birmingham, Alabama, that's a track that I wasn't familiar with when I saw they ran there this year. So looking forward to seeing that as well. And all the uniqueness that brings with it. It's like anything else. It has legions, their own legions of fans, and it's always interesting to see how they're not always the same, but they're always people coming from different places, depending on where the venue is, offering other opportunities for people that may be closer to get there. But there's no shortage of fans that love to follow the races, and especially the races that offer camping. I mean, you see that at NASCAR races as well, but I think it's a little more so with I'm not going to say that because of the tracks, but yeah, it's just a unique deal now with Road America. They have camping literally inside the track, or inside some of the corners and turns of the track. It's a very unique atmosphere. It's not the only one that I can think of, but it's one of the few though. I mean, when you watch the race, you can see the campers literally right there, right off of the track. And I know in a lot of races on the infields, you see that. But this is unique because it's in certain sections, and it is literally a campground area in multiple turns. Then they have a lot of other unique things. But I have not been to Road America. It's my first experience there. So looking forward to taking that in and all that it offers. So it's just another unique experience. And that's another thing about the people that get out and enjoy those unique experiences. But then the folks that have the trucks and the campers and that or the driving campers, man, load up and go. And it's a mix of people that from people in their 30s, 40s on up, and even younger that attend the race and not, but the younger ones are not pulling in campers. I'm fairly certain they're there for the party, baby. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of that going on as well, as we hope that we bring into you the party on a Friday. So hopefully everybody is doing well. What are your plans for the weekend? What's going on in your local areas that get out and do something? I know we've had some crappy weather here of late, but it's going to be beautiful for the next few days. Should be about everywhere, and that usually happens after a storm, doesn't it? It kind of cleans things out, and it's ironic that once the storms have come through, it's just clear blue skies now. So, and very cool hearing those cars in the background running over on the Road America course right now, and that's a good thing. We're not right at the track right now. We wouldn't be able to hear ourselves talk. It's definitely a noise you can hear from quite a ways away. And I wonder what that will sound like when the Indy cars are out there getting after it. We'll have to see. But looking forward to that and much more. Hopefully we will be able to have some fun today, at the very least, and looking forward to talking to Mr. Paul Page. I mean, that is going to be an absolute thrill, and I cannot wait to do that. He is an absolute icon, and just like I said, one of the voices of a generation of not just IndyCar racing, but auto racing, period. So looking forward to that. Let's take a pause for the cause so we can get to it. Appreciate you being with us on this Friday. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this beautiful, beautiful Friday, and I hope you are enjoying it somewhere. and looking forward to whatever it is you may be doing on this weekend. And I know that I'm looking forward to experiencing the IndyCar race at Road America this weekend, and all that it has to offer, the uniqueness, and just the difference in fans, and seeing if talking to people from different places, how their experiences are, and various things like that. But just looking forward to all of it, and hopefully we're going to get to talk to Paul Page this morning. Would love to make that happen, which it's scheduled. And but whenever we're on the road, it makes things a little more difficult. And but hopefully not so today. Indiana basketball met with the media yesterday, and that went swimmingly. I'm sure that everyone has seen. I was on the road, and so I did not get to see that. But looking forward to learning more about everything that went on and how that transpired. I know that our resident realtor, Cheryl Sizemore, was anxiously looking forward to all of that as well. And hopefully everybody is enjoying it. But trying to do things up here today and enjoy all that's going on, and kind of take not a break from the sports world, but a sidestep, not being so head on with it as always, and enjoying some different aspects of the sporting life. So and bringing that action. So it's just a gorgeous day. And I look forward to talking to Bill Bender today, as always, as we do each week. And that'll be, partly about Brendan Sorsby and more about Texas Tech and what they have done, how they have handled this situation. It's not been good. So that have they damaged themselves to a degree to where it will actually matter anymore? I mean, I know that there was the outrage with people in various schools that Georgia, and I forget whomever the other school was, that had already come out and said, "Oh, we're not going to play these schools," and et cetera, et cetera. But will there now be a lasting impact? I don't know, but I will say this: they need to just shut up, stop talking. They had that 30-minute deal with the president, the athletics director, the whatever else, coach, and it was like, dude, stop. And then Cody Campbell, of course, can't resist himself, has to send out like a 3-page letter that seemed more about Cody Campbell than it did anything else. So, yeah, just stop with all of that. And it's crazy. But nothing, what else would you expect from the crazy life of sporting? I mean, we've talked about it being the wild, wild west, and that took it to a point, but at least we got to a point to where we saw that there is a point, there is a line where people say, all right, no more, that's too much. No. And they did say no. I was a little amazed at how Texas Tech backed down that fast. I mean, like that. When it was the NCAA, well, no, we can beat them, yada, yada. Well, it wasn't about that. And Texas Tech didn't read the room. They were too consumed with trying to buy championships. And, I look at Texas Tech now as bought and paid for. That is exactly how I view them. They are a school that is just looking to buy everything as fast as they can. Not that other schools, other programs haven't done something similar. They're all in all the way. I mean, it doesn't matter what sport it is. It's as if Cody Campbell was going to single-handedly make Texas Tech great. And it did not work. So in the end, they didn't get what they wanted. And glad to see it, to be honest with you, because things don't always go that way. And sometimes things do work out the way they're supposed to. And it was a good ending for the sport, a good ending for how things are supposed to be. And it kept in place the, I don't want to call it the golden rule, whatever you want to call it. You don't bet on your own team, your own sport. When it comes down to it, I don't think that they should be allowed to bet at all. Because, especially in even pro sports, they know people in pro sports is that inside knowledge is there. You can't stop it. So it's just something that doesn't need to be there. And if you're getting paid $4 or $5 million, you don't need to be gambling on your own stuff. It's ridiculous. And no matter what, no matter if you're betting on your team to win or not, it's a bad look. Are you going to bet on them to win every game the same? But it doesn't matter. That's just something that doesn't need to be there. It's not an aspect of the game. It doesn't make the game better by allowing athletes to compete. To bet on those events. And so, yeah, I don't think that it should be allowed. And that's that. But what do I know? I'm not the boss. I'm not the boss of them. Who made me the boss? Nobody. But I think that most people think that way. But there are some that don't, and that's fine. Everybody gets to have an opinion. And that's the joy of it. That's the joy of all of us getting to express our thoughts on these different situations. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day until everyone rises up as one. And we saw that in the Brendan Sorsby case. So I hope that your week is going well, like I said, and trying to add myself into a second screen here, so bear with me as we do that. But while having a great day here in the great White North, as I said earlier, and looking forward to enjoying more of these beautiful days that are going on right now. So, hope I'm not messing with your sound too badly at the moment. And things are still going well. I hope that well, it definitely does not work. Well, All right, you're in there, Tony D.
I got you now. What's up?
Sounds good. I'm dealing with. Let me get rid of remove from stage. What's that?
Ready to roll?
All right, buddy. Me as well. I'm going just to have my producer guys have to put the commercials in. So,
Gotcha.
all right, 3, 2. You gotta remove. Jesus. Can't get me out of there. Max, if you're in there, remove. I'm in there too many times. There we go. All right. Now we ready? Say something for me.
1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello.
All right. Just one. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this exquisite Friday. Beautiful, beautiful weather. Probably is that around in a large portion of the area after those damn storms came through. Tony Donahue joining us. Tony D at Tony D Indy. Also, you're already up in Elkhart Lake as well, right?
Yep, gonna be as soon as we're done here, I'll be heading down on the track, and I'm it's gonna be a long day, but it should be a fun day.
Long weekend, yeah. That's something I don't think people realize is how long the days are because, and I'm not talking about that I'm complaining. That's not it at all. It's all the things that are going on. Well, with the teams, they almost don't end, but it is. There are press conferences. There's practice. There's more press conferences. There's this. There's that. It's a nonstop parade of things that are going on during an IndyCar weekend.
Yeah, luckily, Road America isn't as jam-packed as what Gateway was with Saturday and then Sunday, and Sunday even seemed a lot longer because of the rain delays that we had in the evening, and it ultimately got that race in where Newgarden picked up his second one. But I think if you're a fan of motorsports and you're a fan of open wheel racing and IndyCar in particular, Road America is one of the places to go to. It's such a big track. There's so many different vantage points. There's so many different turns. 4-mile race course, and you really get a sense of the ladder series as well, right? You get USF 1000 and USF Pro on. Then you get Indy Next, which has a doubleheader here for the first time, and then obviously ultimately ends up with the Expel Grand Prix with IndyCar on Sunday. So if you like IndyCar and you like following the ladder series and being able to see the drivers that are up and coming in the sport, Road America is one of the best places to do it at.
Yeah, I've mentioned this a couple times already, but Al Unser Jr. called it the Indianapolis Motor Speedway of road courses. It's his favorite road course, but I've only seen it from pictures and from TV. But it just looks like is it the most unique road course because of the camping, because of all the things that go with it. You're in turns, and there are freaking campers right there. And I know that you have the infields of a lot of different races, IndyCar, NASCAR, doesn't matter, people that do that around the edge there. But this is unique because it's in this turn, in turn 3 or turn 5 or turn whatever, and it's a whole different new group. And then there's something else in other turns, and then there's the beauty of it.
Yeah, they call it the National Park of Speed. It's very unique. You've got Canada Corner where you can really get up close and personal with the cars. You get that back straightaway where Indy cars are humming at about 160 miles an hour. Then they got to back down 3 or 4 gears to go into that Canada Corner at about 40 miles an hour. You've got the kink. You've got the carousel. You've got a lot of elevation changes. They have a very difficult turn 1, especially on the start and the restart, which is always interesting. And No, and obviously the elevation changed. The hill to heading up to the main straightaway. It's a lot of fun to walk around. It's a 4 mile track. Utilize those trams if you're going this weekend. But yeah, it is one of the most unique races, one of the most road courses that it's not only on the IndyCar schedule, but I would say on any schedule when it comes to racing globally, really.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I can hear the cars running right now. I would imagine that's what's the other series that's running this weekend?
Yeah, so you've got USF 2000, you've got USF Pro, which is the ladder series to IndyCar, which drains really into Indy Next, and then Indy Next has a doubleheader this weekend for the first time with races on Saturday and Sunday, and then the main event, the big feature coming up on Sunday with IndyCar on Fox. So that should be a heck of a race. This is a race, Jim, that really gets spread out at times. There's different strategies that you can play over 55 laps over a 4 mile course, right? There's a lot of different areas, and when you talk to drivers, it's one of those tracks where it really has a European feel to it. That's why the likes of Alex Palou have been so well there. Alexander Rossi, who yes is an American but grew up racing in Europe, has won and dominated at this track as well. So it is certainly a unique perspective, and you have to be good at so many different levels of turns. Your car needs to be good over a 4 mile lap, not just part of it. And I think one of the crazier things is, when something goes wrong on your lap, let's say it's in qualifying, you got a long time. You got a minute 45 to think about that, a minute 50 to think about that before you do another lap. So qualifying here is as intense as it comes on road courses.
Yeah, and it's a 4 mile long track, and so the biggest thing I guess in auto racing, is keeping your focus and hitting your marks and hitting them right on. And man, a 4 mile track that offers a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I talked to Scott Dixon about it last year. I said, "What's the hardest part about this racetrack?" Because it's mental and it's physical, and there's so many different turns, so many different disciplines throughout the track. And he told me, he said, "Look, if you screw up one lap early on in that lap, you're thinking about it until you got 4 miles to think about it. You got a long way to go before you start that next lap to try to get it right." So that's why qualifying is very intense here. The average winner since 2020 at Road America has the average winner started second, like 2.8 is the average starting spot for the winner. I think we're at 33 consecutive IndyCar races and 39 consecutive road course races where a driver that's outside of the top 10 has won the race. So you got to start up front, and you look at what Alex Palou's been able to do here. He's won multiple times here. I think he's 3 for 5 or 3 for 6 off the top of my head. So he's obviously, candidate number one to get the pole and ultimately win here again. But, we had an upset pole sitter last year in Louis Foster. Do we see something along those lines this year? And as we talked about, who can dethrone Alex Palou? And lately it's been Felix Rosenquist, obviously at the 500, Joseph Newgarden at Gateway. So we'll see if Alex Palou returns to form as we return to a road course for the first time since the IMS road course a month ago.
Yeah, and I talked about it earlier. Alex Palou's got a points lead, 52, 56. I forget exactly what it is, but close to that. And it's not quite insurmountable, but they need a little more help. He gave them some help in St. Louis, but he won at this course last year, so that's not a great boost of confidence for the rest of the drivers going into this. But they're going to need help from Alex Palou for anybody, whether it's Kyle Kirkwood or whomever, to catch him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention is Kyle Kirkwood. We got to this point last year, and he was in that fight, right? He was second in points. I know he's up there in points again. Obviously, he won on the streets of Arlington, but we were going into Road America last year with Kyle Kirkwood getting his first career oval win at Gateway, and it was like, okay, he's a legit contender. He's won on the street course. He's now won on an oval, and then he kind of faded the rest of the year. I mean, he ultimately finished, I think, top 3 in points. But who can step up? Can Pato Award this week and get his first podium of the season? Can Christian Lundgaard continue to contend and be inside of that top 5 championship battle? David Malukas looking for his first career win. He's been close so many times. He's been close to Gateway. He was he led the 800th corner of the 800th turn of the Indianapolis 500 and didn't win the race. So you know that he's going to be hungry. Joseph Newgarden hasn't won on the road or a street course since 2023. Scott McLaughlin hasn't won since Milwaukee in 2024. So there's a lot of storylines. Can some of these guys that are in contract years, like a Marcus Ericsson, step up and have a good run this weekend? There's a lot of storylines. Ray Hall was on the pole last year, and we've seen a resurgence from Graham Ray Hall. He's got 3 podiums so far this season, and on the last 3 natural terrain road courses, Graham's finished 3rd, 4th, and 4th. So he's been right up there in contention.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see if there's a lot of guys that really need a win. You mentioned some of them that haven't won for a while, and some of these guys need to get a win.
Yeah, and really silly season has already started. We started getting some news out of Gateway. We're going to get some more news this weekend over the next couple of days about drivers going elsewhere. Obviously, Scott Dixon, Joseph Newgarden are going to play a huge role in that. Felix Rosenqvist, who just won the Indianapolis 500, is going to be courted by teams with high dollar offers. Does he decide to stay at Meyer Shank, where he brought it home and won the 500 last year? Does he maybe chase some money to go to a new team? There's a lot of question marks, and when you're a free agent, having a win under your belt in the last 365 days is always huge. So we're, like you mentioned, can somebody step up? Will we see an upset winner? Can Scott Dixon get a victory? He's won a race, I think, every year for the last 22 years. And we're almost going on a year since Mid-Ohio last year since we've seen Scott Dixon win. So, there's the Pato Award, as we mentioned, hasn't been on the podium this year, while Christian Lundgaard, his teammate, has. Santino Ferrucci's in a contract year. He's never won a race, but finished 3rd here last year on fuel mileage. Rinus VK, can he have a good run for Juncos? I mean, there are a lot of hungry drivers that are going to be going all out, not just this race at Road America, but for the remainder of the season, trying to get that win.
Yeah, and you mentioned silly season for the listeners that don't understand what that means. It is kind of exactly what it sounds like, except for it deals with the drivers that are becoming free agents. And it's silly because it's going on in the middle, just past the midway point, or we're at the midway point, something like that. But it's still deep into the season when it's going on. So that makes it kind of silly in and of itself. And then if these announcements, sneak out or leak out, that just it has to change the dynamic for a team if your driver's leaving.
Yeah, it depends on who your driver's leaving for, right? If you're a Honda driver and you end up knowing and finding out that your driver is going to Chevy, how much information are you going to give said driver? How much of your data are you going to give said driver? Usually, contracts are there for a reason. Both parties, whether it's the team and the driver, will do their best to fulfill that contract towards season's end at the best of their ability. But yeah, it gets silly because you start hearing one driver's tied to 6 different rides for next year, and if this driver goes here, then 6 other rides are going to open up underneath him, and if this driver stays here, that means that four rides and 4 seats for next year are not going to be in there. And then we get to the point, Jim, where you've got a lot of talent and there's just not enough. There's too many butts and not enough seats in IndyCar, knowing that we're only going to be at 27 full-time cars next year. And I think we'll sniff 34, 35 entries at the Indianapolis 500 with the new car coming in 2028 and these DW12 chassis being obsolete, more than likely with the new car coming in at seasons in 2027. So there's a lot up for grabs. It's not only racing to have a seat, it's racing to continue to be in that seat and to prove to other teams that you can make a career out of this and be a long-term staple on a team competing, winning, and scoring podiums.
There's a couple of things there that you mentioned. Daggone it, I've already forgotten one of them because I was trying to write them both down. The car changes. That reminds me of the change with the reduction in the you know what I'm talking about. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, reduction in the hybrid boost. But from what I've read, that's it's a small change.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, look, it's no secret that the hybrid was brought in to keep Honda as the second manufacturer in IndyCar, with Chevy obviously staying and having that relationship with Penske and IMS. And we've seen a lot of problems with the hybrid. We've seen a lot of hybrid failures. When you've got drivers like Scott Dixon that are speaking out against it, a driver who normally doesn't speak out against things, then you know something is up. And there's just been too many hybrid problems. There's been too many problems. You know, you got Chevy burning up engines left and right at Detroit and the Indianapolis 500. We've seen hybrid issues for multiple Hondas as well. So they've turned that juice down, so to speak, that the hybrid produces. Hopefully, kind of cap where they are as far as those hybrid failures are. So the hybrid, I always say, is like an offensive lineman. If you're talking about it, it's usually not good. It's usually a hold or a false start. But if you're talking about the hybrid, it's usually something that has gone wrong with it. I think they should just get rid of it. They probably won't. It's supposed to be lighter on the new car and less voltage, but it's just more been a headache than I think anything else.
Yeah, and it's like NASCAR as well. We've heard cries of people, "Hey, give me my horsepower back, man."
Yeah, and I think with the new car, I talked to guys like Graham Rahal, and IndyCar has a problem to where they have to appease their hardcore fans, which is not the younger demographic, but they also want to have the hybrids, and they also want to reach out to that younger demographic that is 18 plus, 21 plus, that might be getting into racing. And for me, what got me hooked on racing as a kid with my grandfather and my dad taking me to races was the speed and how cool the cars looked, and most importantly, the sound. Like, I want this new car to scream. I want to know that it's coming down the front straightaway at IMS at 230 miles an hour. I want to have to, put earplugs in because it's screaming so loud because it's got a V8 or a V10 in it. Now, it's probably not going to happen. But I think, there's a lot of work ahead before we see this new car. I thought we'd already see it. I thought maybe Mid-Ohio coming up in a couple of weeks, they would introduce it. Maybe DC, maybe they're waiting for that big moment in DC. But we're getting to a point here where we're going to have to start testing this car real soon. So when are we going to see it? And I think it needs to be in the next month.
And that seems odd, though, to make such a radical change in mid-season with the points race going on and all of that.
Well, I mean, they did it in 2024 when they rolled out the hybrid at Mid-Ohio halfway through the year, and Scott Dixon didn't even see the green flag because his failed and took him out of that race. So nothing surprises me in IndyCar. There seems to be constant changes, whether it's a tire change, whether it's a compound change, whether it's hybrid changing, or it's push to pass changing, or it's this is what we're going to do differently. And it's, they spin it to where it's not too gimmicky, but if they would just open it up and not be as much of a spec series as they are, which they're not going to do, you might have some innovation. You might have some teams pushing the envelope and stretching things out. But nothing surprises me in IndyCar. I mean, we just learned, obviously coming out of Detroit that Rocket, who was the head of tech, retired, was let go, was shown that, I don't know. They said it was a retirement. Seems weird to do it, like you said, halfway through the season. But again, nothing in IndyCar surprises me anymore.
Why would that change be made? Your thoughts on that?
I think they knew with the new IndyCar officiating board and the things that have came down, especially with Team Penske over the last couple of years, whether it was the attenuator or push to pass, that happened down in St. Pete. Look, I mean, I think they literally went to Rocket and said, "Hey, we've got this guy that we're going to replace you with. Your contract's up June 1st. We'd like you to teach this guy and have him learn under your guidance." Rocket's very respected inside of IndyCar, very respected by teams and drivers and owners. And I think Rocket was fair. Did people agree with him all the time? No, but the guy did it for 24 years. So he obviously was doing something right in those 24 years. So I get the sense that they told him, "Hey, we're going to let you write out your contract. We've got you replacement ready to go. We would like for you to cordially and respectfully help him get up to speed, and then, retire, exit stage right, and enjoy yourself." So go hunting, go fishing, do your thing. So it was a little odd that when it happened, but I'm not surprised that it did happen.
Tony Donahue with me. You mentioned, as far as silly season, a couple of names. One of those, Joseph Newgarden. Who are some of the other, Felix Rosenquist? Who are some of the other bigger names that are available, I guess you would say?
Joseph Newgarden, like you said, Scott Dixon, does he retire? Does he re-sign with Chip Ganassi Racing? Does he end up going to McLaren? There's a bunch of options there. And I think those are obviously your two biggest dominoes because those are two sought-after rides if either of those exit those rides. Now, I don't expect Joseph Newgarden to leave Team Penske unless Zach Brown backed up the Brinks truck to him, which I still think Penske would probably match that offer. I think he stays. You've won 2 Indianapolis 500s. You won Nashville last year. You've had the best car at the Indianapolis 500 really probably for the last 5 years. Even when he started in the back row, he drove his way all the way up into the top 10 before having an issue.
He could have won 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, and he could have won this year. He had drove himself from 22nd all the way into the top 6 before the restart issue. Christian Lundgaard's yet to be re-signed. He obviously wanted the GP back in Indianapolis, so that's a big thing. Is he going to be back with Aaron McLaren? Marcus Ericsson, Dennis Hauger, who's under an Andretti contract but driving for Dale Coyne Racing. Do they eventually move him over? Does Felix get a big offer from a team knowing that he's now the Indianapolis 500 champion? Could it be McLaren, where he raced at for 3 years? Could it be Andretti, who seemingly would have an opening with Marcus Ericsson being a free agent in the 28 car? For every, I always say this about silly season. It's like when you're playing Super Mario and you can choose which tube you go down. And every tube you go down, it takes you into like 37 different worlds that you could go to. And that's how silly season is. If this domino falls here, these 6 dominoes can fall over here. And if this guy stays, then these seats don't become available. So it is crazy, and it's going to be very fun, interesting, and as you mentioned, very silly over the next couple of months.
And then there's the new drivers that not necessarily new, but NXT drivers that may move up. Miles Rowe, I mentioned earlier, and Enzo Fittipaldi are two of the names that are kind of rising to the top of that series.
Yeah, Nikita Johnson's leading it. I mean, the kid just turned 18 years old. He's got a lot of talent. He's in the Ed Carpenter pipeline with Cape Motorsports. However, he does run sports cars for Rahal. He runs a McLaren for Rahal in sports cars. So he's another guy that's right there. Max Taylor, when's he going to be ready? If you win the Indy Next Championship, you are more than likely going to go to IndyCar. But this year might be a little bit different because, if I'm a team owner and, this rookie's going to bring money, but do I want this rookie to be in a Dallara DW12 chassis in 2027? And then, oh, by the way, everything you learned about that car might be different than the new car that you're going to run in 2028. So it'll be interesting to see what the rookie class looks like next year, knowing that do you just want to do 1 year of a lame duck season in IndyCar with the DW12 chassis that you're not going to be running at season's end. So that's, I think, an interesting thing to keep an eye on as well.
Tony Donahue, Tony D at Tony D Indy on Twitter. Make sure to give him a follow. Appreciate you, friend, and I'll see you shortly.
See you soon. We'll have some bratwurst, and we'll check out some awesome corners and speed traps at Road America. It's one of my favorite places to be.
I can't wait, and I can't wait to talk about it more maybe next week. Tony D, make sure you give him a follow at Tony D Indy. Appreciate you, my friend.
See you soon.
We've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Keep it locked right here on 98.7 WWZN, the Zone, Bloomington Sports Station, right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on the Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. I am in Wisconsin. Hey, have to get some cheese while I'm up here, but up here at Road America for this weekend's IndyCar activities. The Grand Prix that's going on at Road America this weekend, plus Indy NXT Series racing, and some other series below that as well. But it's going to be a gorgeous weekend. The one thing I didn't get to talk to Tony Donahue about was the potential weather on Sunday. It's as beautiful as it is right now. It's supposed to be opposite that, not quite what we had the other night, but just a big chance of rain, and so it's looking iffy, man. And so we'll see how it works out, of course. But it's wow. I'm wondering, do they get this race in? Just because when it comes and goes, now being a road course, that makes it a little different because they can run in rain, but I don't know. It depends, of course. You know, they could put the road tires on, but I don't know. I'll have to check the rules for IndyCar, how that actually works. But it certainly makes it interesting when that is the case, but it is definitely not a fan favorite, and it's not what the fans want to see happen either. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah, looking forward to that this weekend and all that is going on. My man Max, if you're there, if you can, I can't tell if your mic is on or not, but I was going to ask what your plans are for this weekend. Bill Bender should be joining us here shortly, but
how's it going, Jim?
Oh, there's my man Max.
Yes, sir.
And we got a shout out for Fulton. He's got a big announcement next Friday. He is going to be recording his new original song for his America 250, and it will be released on Spotify. Look at Fulton go. Man, my man Fulton. How's things going with Max?
Great, man. I cannot complain. Really just been playing a lot of basketball. It's basketball season for me, so it's been a good summer.
Yeah, Indiana, the new team met with the media yesterday, and I don't have any of that today, unfortunately, because of we're traveling and all of that. But and kind of flying blind. But Bill Bender joining us here on the program. If you've got him added, I can't see, but if Bill is there, go ahead. If not, add him in if you can. There we go.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Bill Bender. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, Jim?
Well, been flying blind a little bit today on not only on the road, but literally off the grid a little bit. So that can make things challenging. But, man, technology is an amazing thing here doing a radio show kind of off the grid. So it's a little amazing in that scenario. How have you been? How was your week, man? Did you get hit by that weather?
We did not. So we kind of break there a little bit with the weather. Sorry, let me center my camera a little bit here. Yeah, we did. It's a beautiful day today. A beautiful week so far. We did have one day of pretty heavy rain, but we didn't get the nasty stuff that was going around in the Midwest. But so thankful to be ready to do another week here.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And I know that I guess we can get this out of the way. The Brendan Sorsby saga took yet another turn, but I think it leads back towards what you had mentioned in your piece on the damage done. Well, I think Texas Tech continued to do damage to themselves afterwards, and it's like, just shut up. Shut up. You finally, did the right thing or whatever, but shut up about it. Cody Campbell doesn't need to write a 3-page letter to the world.
Yeah, it was really interesting week. Obviously, I think the phrase I've used all week, Jim, was that common sense prevailed. Whether it was Texas Tech getting leaned on by the Big 12, which obviously happened, or just the common sense of that. I think they miscalculated, and we talked about it on here last Friday, just how much the rest of the college football world did not want Brendan Sorsby to take a snap this season, and just how serious those violations were. It's not a capital crime, and it's not that kind of thing, but it's one of those rule number one in college sports, right? You don't gamble on the teams. It happened. I think this is the best possible conclusion for everyone, though. Really, I do. I think for Sorsby, he gets to go to the NFL supplemental draft.
And keep his damn money.
Yeah, I mean, that too. And then for Texas Tech, yeah, your reputation takes a hit, but the second he would have taken a snap, their reputation is gone. I don't think they recover that. Big 12, Brett Yormark comes off looking great. The NCAA, I'm not sure another athlete will test this for a long time. I'm not saying other athletes won't gamble over the years, but I think definitely everybody comes out. I hate to say a winner, because this was not a winning situation, but certainly this was the best possible conclusion for everyone, in my opinion.
Yeah, hail to the Big 12 Conference and Brett Yorman, who is an Indiana graduate, by the way.
I didn't know that.
I learned it recently. I was like, wow, it's crazy. The head of Disney is an IU grad. It's nuts. It's yeah, but every school has that. But anyway, yeah, hail to the Big 12. And it's so funny how quickly Texas Tech folded when the Big 12 said, here's what we're going to do. But the difference was what they were going to be able to do was on a federal level, and that would not have provided the judge comfort that has been accompanying so many of these NCAA lawsuits.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think the Big 12 flexed a little bit here, Jim, that, there's a lot of money to be involved. Once the other institutions, and you started hearing stories about, are they going to stop scheduling Texas Tech, and how much money the conference stood to lose. I think that's another factor in this whole discussion for me, is how much money the actual the Big 12 would have lost. The best thing for them is to have a program or two be super successful, but to do it in the right fashion. And had Brendan Sorsby stepped on the field, I think it makes a farce of the Big 12. It would have made a farce of Texas Tech. That last time we talked was shortly after they did that roundtable with all the Texas Tech leaders, and they embarrassed themselves there. So, and then Cody Campbell, I don't have as many issues with Cody Campbell as maybe some others do, because he's putting a lot of money and a lot of passion into the program, and he's outspoken, but he's not the first booster who's acted like that. You and I both know that. So I kind of like that part of college football, that you have guys that throw that much passion into their program and help it out. But like you said, he needs to learn maybe when to hit, as my kids like to say in the car, mute. I think he needs to hit the mute button every once in a while.
Yeah, read the room. But yeah, I look at Texas Tech, though, as a program that's just simply bought and paid for now, which I know that there's money everywhere, but they've taken it to a completely different level. Miami did this early on when this first started, but not to this level, baby. This is big time money that I can't even imagine the change that falls out of Cody Campbell's pockets when he's walking around. He's got so much money because God only knows how much money he's put into Texas Tech athletics in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, but we're living in that age now where you're going to need to have huge money to keep your program rolling in that kind of way. Obviously, is $30 million into your football roster too much? Some would argue that's about what it's going to take in this day and age.
Well, and $5 million of that was going to Brendan Sorsby.
That's the wild part in a lot of ways, right? That you're going to put that much money into a quarterback, and yeah, but I mean that's what it takes to succeed. And obviously they've had a lot of guys come in and out of the transfer portal. There's no question about that. And with Brendan Sorsby added to the roster, it would have been a lot of money. But I think in order to be that tier of program, you've got to spend some money. Nobody's complaining about the amount. I don't know how much Indiana spent last year, Jim, and I don't know how much they're spending this year, but I know nobody's got to be complaining in Bloomington because the investment paid off. I guess when you put that kind of money in and it doesn't pay off, maybe you put $30 million into your roster and then you don't get to the college football playoff. That's where we're going to run into some problems.
Well, and not only that, and I think, and Kurt Signetti has spoken to this a couple of times here recently, but in getting back to Cody Campbell, the few people that are like that have the ability, they keep taking it up a notch. And every time they take it up a notch, it kind of forces others to raise up. And that's an issue that it's like, okay, it keeps getting driven up. And Signetti is one of those that, hey, we're not going to have that kind of money. We don't have that kind of money, and we're not going to. And I think it's a concern of a ever increasing chasm between the teams.
Yeah, for sure. And that's not to say that Ohio State or Texas isn't going to have that kind of money moving forward, right? Like Texas and Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama. And, this ties into, I think it's not without coincidence that the Senate ruling, it passes to get to the floor, the Protect College Sports Act ruling. And I don't think it's coincidence that it happened this week during the Sorsby case, because there are a lot of things about college football that are a mess right now, Jim. I think we both know that. But if you can clean them up maybe one or two at a time, which is what I've been saying all summer, then we'll get somewhere. I don't know if that entire bill will pass because there's a lot of meat on it. But if you start with eligibility and you start with transfer portal, actually the resolution Tommy Tuberville was floating out there this week. People like to take a lot of shots at Tommy on social media, some about his coaching career, some about some of his political stances. But I thought the resolution he had out there this week made pretty good sense. It was 5 years. It was one free transfer. It was, trying to do those reforms first. One of the hangups with transfers, Jim, real quick, how are you going to go backward, so to speak, and tell a kid you've got to sit a year on your second transfer when, my kids could go to Ohio State 1 year, Ohio University? My answer is, well, they don't play football, but, that's something that's going to be a point of contention if they try to do that.
I would just say, well, you used to be able to not be able to do that. So it's just going back the way it was, period. Tough. Right. But Tommy Tuberville, I'm not a fan. I think he's a clown. I think he's, for someone that coached, he is so uninformed on, and yes, this stuff he's talking about. Well, yeah, that's the common sense stuff. Duh. Of course, that's the root of this. But last year, he made a statement and he used Indiana, which, again, this is not because I cover them, but he said, look at Indiana. They went out and bought them a football team. Well, that's a guy that has no damn clue as to what he's talking about. And for one of them to have been, for him to have been a Division I coach was more than shocking. But it's also a guy that got up from a dinner table with a recruit, left to take a phone call, and never came back because he took another job. So I don't put a lot of stock into anything that somebody like that does or says.
Well, everybody's buying a football team now. That's kind of my point. It's
but that wasn't true, though. That just showed he was so uninformed of the situation.
Well, or the talent development and the talent, evaluation that Kurt Cignetti has. Obviously our coach rankings came out. Was that this week or last week? The bye weeks were running together. That was last week, and we have Kurt number 1. And I my pushback to anybody that says Kurt Cignetti's not the top coach in college football right now, present tense, is look what he's been able to do in the last 3 years. He set up JMU for a college football playoff run. And Bob Chesney, who's now the coach at UCLA, he has done in the last 2 years. You guys know, you've lived it, what he's done the last 2 years. And the talent evaluation, the fact that Indiana, I think they were one of two, or if not the only team that had somebody drafted in every round last year. So that means he's not only developing, that tells me he's not just developing the elite talent. He's developing the third day guy. He's developing the day 2 guy. D'Angelo Pons was probably my favorite player at Indiana last year. And I don't know how his NFL career is going to transpire, but I know Aaron Glenn will probably get the most out of him with the Jets, because that's where he went, right? I hope he went to the Jets. I'm pretty sure. And I think he'll have a nice career at the NFL. So that's the piece that Tommy's missing. That's the piece. You can spend all the money in the world on your football team. You still got to develop into these players. Ohio State does that very well, by the way. I thought Texas Tech did that well last year with the defensive guys that they had. A lot of those guys got drafted.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, I saw one player that decommitted and was going to Wisconsin, Jalen Brewster, a big-time recruit that is committed to Texas Tech. It really makes you wonder, boy, are the Sharks circling?
Yeah, obviously, that's the next step for Indiana, I think. Can you recruit at the level of Ohio State? Can you recruit at the level of Georgia, who brings in the 4- and 5-star guys? And I think they'll be able to improve that with every year. Every year you're successful, guys are going to want to come play for you. Ohio State, I don't think Indiana is at the recruits itself point yet, but that's where, Ohio State recruits itself. They have these camps and kids they have to turn kids away. They're looking at, and I just marvel at their receiver pipeline, by the way, that they've got Chris Henry Jr. there and Marvin Harrison, Jet Harrison, the other Harrison.
Oh, my.
He's on the way next, it sounds like. If they're getting, he's Ohio State's among the favorites to land him. So it's just an endless pipeline of wide receiver 1 in Columbus. So that's what.
Speaking of, they've got probably the best quarterback wide receiver combo coming back in college football.
I mean, you pair Jeremiah Smith with just about anybody, you might have the best quarterback receiver combo the way he plays. But it doesn't. Somebody asked me yesterday who has the 3 best receiving combos in college football, and I said Ohio State would probably be one, because you have Ennis, and it sounds like by all accounts Chris Henry Jr. is going to make an impact sooner rather than later. You have Texas with Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo. That's pretty good for Arch to throw to. And then I like Indiana, man. I think Marsh and Becker, and you and I talked at length about Becker last year and how he made catch after catch after catch at the right time. And they have some depth at that position, but I think Marsh adds something else to Indiana. So I think those are the teams I'm keeping an eye on. Miami obviously has good receivers too, led by Malachi Toney, but it's where the game is, man. You got to have a couple guys that catch football.
So what are you working on? What have you been working on? What's in the Bill Bender pipeline?
Hey, I have you know what I have today? I think you'll find interesting. Something.
I find everything about what you do interesting.
So I got a story about. There's a documentary tonight on History Channel about Max Schmeling and Joe Louis. And
oh wow, really?
I was fortunate to talk to Joe Lewis's son last week, and did a story leading up to this documentary. I've seen the documentary; it's outstanding. Just for a generation that maybe not know about it, like Joe Louis, obviously, and then Max Schmeling, who was coming up during the rise of Nazi Germany, and how symbolic these two fights were, and the racism that Joe Louis encountered on the way up versus the heart. It's just a fantastic documentary full of context, and I encourage your listeners to check it out tonight. I thought it was outstanding. I enjoy the History Channel. I've been watching a lot of that recently. Between that and the Tom Hanks World War II series, they produce some good TV over there. So in between, I'm getting ready for college football. When I need to wind down a little bit, I am a nerd, I admit it, but I like to wind down and watch the History
I
Channel.
am the same way. My go-to was usually watching things about antiquity, Egyptology. It's I don't know what it is about it. That stuff blows me away. The finding of all of that from so long ago. How smart these people were 4,000 years ago. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, wild. But yeah, I'm the same way, man. I like to decompress and de-sportify myself.
Yeah, you got to
When
watch
I
something else sometimes, right? And you know, I flip through those channels and try to learn something. We had I was telling a kind of a joke this week that I take those boys to lacrosse practice, my son and his friends, and we were driving through downtown Pickerington, and there was a happy 250th birthday America, and I was quizzing them a little bit on American history and didn't like some of the results. So like every day to practice now, they get 5 questions about U.S. history on the way to practice, and they have to answer 3. We're going to have a reward if they keep getting them right. But I was a little disappointed on the first day, but they've gotten better.
Looking forward to that. I'm in Wisconsin at Road America for the IndyCar race this weekend, and looking forward to. But the weather is just spectacular. We had another tornado, literally a couple of miles north of where I live, and it's like the third one that has come within a few miles in the last 2 years, and I'm like, man, this is just tornado alley. It's crazy, but. And my bedroom is my head. If I'm looking just to my right, is a sliding glass door, and when it's open, and when weather like this, it is definitely open. But there is a direct line, straight line, right to the notification siren that goes off, and that thing is loud and it rocks. I mean, it's like 150 yards away. So when that thing swings around right in my direction, holy crap. But yeah, that thing has been buzzing a lot here lately. But hope everyone made it through that okay, because I know that it was really rough for a lot of people. But I know that our friend Mike DeCourcy, busy with World Cup action, man.
Yeah, he is, and he's wrote some fantastic stuff this week. I talked to Mike yesterday. We had one of our meetings. Obviously he's retiring after the World Cup. He's still going to like contribute for us, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, for those, I'm not. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a huge soccer World Cup guy, but I've had it on in the background more. I will say that it's been on in the background. I'll pass by. I'll watch the United States today, obviously, watch their game, and had some friends that were down at the game in Atlanta yesterday between Czechia and South Africa. He said it was awesome. So, I mean, yeah, continue to read Mike. And I know on my end, we are, we did some schedule ranking stuff this week. I know the next thing I'm going to sketch out this afternoon, and maybe we could talk about next week, is trying to tackle the bowl projections next. That's like the last bit of stress, because there's still 40 bowls out there. You still want to get all those right. And, we'll see where we have everybody in those, but looking forward to it certainly. And, man, yeah, it is. I have to say, Jim, this background that you have, it does look like wherever you are right now, it looks beautiful outside.
It is that. I mean, got the sweatshirt on for a reason, baby. No doubt about that. But yeah, it certainly is. And that's the one thing I have whenever I've been able to come up to this part of the country. It is always like this, and it's spectacular. That's why people live here during the summer. I could not do it in the wintertime, man. I couldn't. I just couldn't. Hell, I could barely live in Indianapolis. That's too far north for me already.
Oh, actually, I meant to tell you, I'll be in Indy next weekend. I'll have to we'll coordinate offline, but so I'm going to the final. Here's how our life works, unfortunately. So my wife is in Atlantic City for work. She's meeting. Somebody's taking my son. One of my son's friends' dads is taking my son to Philly. They'll be in Philly. I'm staying home with my daughter. 2 lacrosse tournaments, 2 different places. Next week, fortunately, we'll be in Indy. And both kids have that lacrosse tournament. What is it, Grand Park? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Huge soccer lacrosse facility. Amazing. So we'll be in Indianapolis next weekend for that tournament. I'm super excited about it. So maybe, I don't know if you're around, maybe we can catch up.
I will absolutely try to do that. It sounds great.
You can come watch some youth lacrosse if you want. I don't know.
I've never seen lacrosse. I've never seen lacrosse live. So I always like to add things in. Man, Bill Bender, I cannot thank you enough, as always, my brother. And I hope you have a great weekend, and hope lacrosse goes well.
We will. I'll talk to you next week, Jim. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. And thanks to your listeners. Talk to you next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. There he goes, Bill Bender from the Sporting News joining us. We've got to take a pause for the cause. My man Max, take us out to the break.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC, local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this beautiful Friday. I hope you're having a beautiful Friday and made it through the storms with relative ease. The thing about those storms, man, we knew they were coming. They told us. I mean, they said, "Hey, this could be a rough one," and boy, did it. And where I talked about the guy yesterday, Max Velocity. I wonder if that's his name. Is his name Max? I can't see the comments, so Gritty's on there. She knows. She's a Max Velocity aficionado. Sent me the stream, and so yeah, but it's cool to watch, man. It really is, and it's wild because it's the most simple thing that anybody has ever done, and it's just so watchable. Not as enjoyable. I don't mean it that way, because it's always about the dangerous storms, but he's definitely a regional guy because they don't have that stuff going on out west. Yeah, think about that. No tornadoes in the Pacific Northwest or west of, say, Kansas, Nebraska, all that area, where the plains, they don't really, no one out there has that. I mean, I guess they're kind of lucky. So, there's that. But everybody's got something going on. My man, Max, how's your weekend shaping up?
It's been good, man. I've a lot of World Cup. I hear you're not a big World Cup guy, but
it's not. That's a commitment. The World Cup is a commitment. A match takes, how long does a match take? 3 hours?
An hour and a half. Yeah, 90 minutes, but rounded up to 2 hours. I would say 2 hours though, with the halftime break and all that.
Well, that's not bad. I was thinking it was longer, but I hate saying this because I've seen so much soccer in between back then and now. But when I first watched soccer, I was not, I didn't grow up with it, and had already preconceived notions, and then the World Cup fed into that back then. The flopping was. You wanted to choke somebody. I wanted to reach down and choke the guy that were flopping. I'm like, you suck. But
no, it's a whole
but that's
thing.
gone away, and I'll tell you, I've told this story 1,000 times. I took my daughter to a soccer match in Louisville once. They've got a great team there, much like the Indy 11. But it introduced. I was up close and personal. I'm 5, 6, 10 rows off of the field, and oh my God, you can't see this on TV. How hard these guys were running up and down and back, and it was like,
oh yeah, it's a whole different world.
Changed my preconceived thoughts on that regard, and then the flopping. That flopping wasn't happening in those games. And so I'm like, okay. And then you have to learn the rules. It's the same with hockey. You have to know the rules in those sports. I mean, I guess you do for every sport. Just take it for granted for all the other ones because you grow up with them. But I didn't grow up with hockey. I didn't grow up with soccer. I didn't know what the hell a blue line was. Hell, I was a TV sports anchor when I was young, and did not grow up around hockey. And I ended up going to a place that had a damn hockey team, and I'm like, oh hell. I shoot highlights, and all I would say is he shoots, he scores. I mean, that's all I had to know. Or he crosses the blue line, shoots, and scores. That was pretty much it. But yeah, you got to learn the rules, man. And
especially since it never stops.
Enjoy soccer. And Indiana soccer is also, they're fun to watch, man.
Very competitive. But
yeah,
I would recommend watching USA play today against Australia. That'll be a good one.
Oh, absolutely. Where is that match being played?
That's a good question. I want to say Seattle, but I could be wrong. They've been all over, so I could look that up.
So that will that be is that a nighttime match?
No, that's at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
All right, so everybody can as soon as we get done, you can listen to that, watch that. So yeah, highly recommend that. That'll be on, and it's a Friday. That's a great excuse for people to sneak out of work early and just go to the local pub, and because I guarantee you there are a lot of pubs around the country that are big into soccer. People, it's just like anything else. I mean, every sport has its fans, and soccer is one that it's not odd, but it's one that America did not adapt to for so long, while the rest of the world, that's pretty much all they did. They didn't have football.
Correct.
They didn't have, basketball at this level. They didn't have baseball. And America had so many different sports of its own that soccer just wasn't it. But then it changed, and so it is what it is. Did you play soccer?
Yes, all my life. I did.
Where did you play at high school?
Castle High School, and I also played at Wabash College for a year.
Oh, wow. Good for you, man. Castle, Evansville boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Castle Bulldogs, is that right?
Knights. Castle Knights.
Castle Knights. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. Why would a castle need a bulldog? It certainly has its knights. Wow, that's cool. Well, the ref.
Yes, sir.
Did you listen to the ref?
What'd you say?
Did you listen to the ref when you were in Evansville?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
I did.
But, and then who's your baseball team?
we have a couple travel teams, but
No. Your
we're-
personal. I'm assuming you're a Cardinals
Evansville
fan.
Otters.
No, I'm talking about you. You're a Cardinals fan?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I am a Cardinals fan.
Yeah, that's almost a necessity if you grow up from that league.
Exactly.
There's a line of demarcation somewhere just west of Louisville, I would say that, or right at Louisville, that west of there are the Cardinals, and east it's the Reds.
Yep.
And the Reds are a big chunk of, I think, southeast Indiana, and then drifting up to central Indiana. But then you start getting into the White Sox and the Cubs. More White Sox fans,
More
it
White
seems.
Sox. Who's your team?
The Reds. I grew up a Reds fan, and which stinks because they're never going to be good.
Loyal. I respect the
And
loyalty.
it doesn't matter because Milwaukee has been good for a couple of years. So it's like, okay, similar market. So there's no reason for them not to be. It's a hard era in baseball, especially with no salary caps, but is what it is. Is what it is. So yeah, America playing today, man, taking on Australia.
Yes, sir.
They bring do they bring the kangaroos?
I think they do. Maybe the koalas. We'll see.
Oh, that's a better accent than I have. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a fun weekend. Well, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's enjoyable work, I have to say. But the weather is so incredible, and I hope the background does look this may be the best background ever.
It looks beautiful. When is the race?
The IndyCar race Grand Prix is on Sunday.
Gotcha.
The NXT race is Saturday. I believe, I don't even know the other two. There's two other series that are running, and I think that they will run on Saturday, but it might be both Saturday and Sunday. There's just so much going on. Looking forward to talking to the drivers, and it's amazing when if you get to go to the garage area. These teams are working non-freaking stop, man. Till late at night, early in the morning they start, and it's just a routine. And then, like St. Louis, that day was all day, and that race was at 9:00 at night. And I'm thinking of the pit crew guys, and I'm like, wow, that's just an incredibly long day. So there's that. I think, do we need to take one final break? I can't remember how many breaks we've had in.
Two.
So, well, I don't know how many breaks we've had in the show already. But we'll take one more last break. One pause for the cause. Hope you're having a great day. I am. Back right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back to Jim Coyle and Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On a glorious day, I'm just marveling at how incredible it is. But I will say that while I've been sitting here and it was a completely blue sky, no clouds whatsoever, there's just a few puffers out there now. I'm like, where the hell did they come from? They snuck in. But hope you're having some great plans for the weekend. This should be a great grilling weekend, man. If I were home, that's exactly what I would be doing. I would be right now. I'd have, well, it's too early to wait one more day. Well, maybe not, but a couple of steaks. Start not marinating them necessarily, but preparing them, seasoning them. Letting them sit there and just get those flavors in, and that's something you need to learn how to do, my man Max. You got to be a good griller. You got to learn how to grill the beef, baby. Grill the steaks. How do you eat your steak?
Medium rare.
There you go. Learn,
Yes, sir.
my man. Learn young. It took me a while. I had to learn some things about those types of things. My dad and mom and dad that was not it. It was they wanted a belt, basically. I'm not burnt, but all the way through. And I'm like, now I look back at that and I'm like, damn, he could have cut that up and used it as a belt, man. It's like, man. Whoa.
Do you use a Blackstone by chance?
Do I use what? A Blackstone? I don't have one. I just have a regular grill, a Weber grill, which is great. But just a grill, and I do it. I don't know how I don't screw up more steaks because I do everything just. I don't have a timer. I don't have a thermometer. Nothing. It is just eyeball and it usually works because if you undercook it, you can kind of go back a little bit. You overcook it, yeah, you're screwed. So, that is, brother. What's going on in the sports world for you this weekend?
Nothing too crazy. I have a 3v3 basketball tournament I joined in downtown Indy, so I'll be doing that with my brother. And other than that, just watching the World Cup. It's been a grind. Been watching almost every single game.
There's a 3-on-3 tournament in downtown Indy this weekend?
Yes, sir. Right on IU Indy's campus. We have a little outside court.
I played in as a matter of fact, ironically, a 3-on-3 Gus Macker tournament back in the day. That was a big deal.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, it was in Wisconsin, so there's the irony part of it. But I hope everybody is looking forward to a great weekend, and I can't thank you enough for taking time to spend it with us as on remote today. Makes the broadcast a little different, without question, but still try to have some fun. But I hope everybody is having great plans for the weekend. Keep it locked right here on 98.7 WWZ The Zone, Bloomington Sports Station. And stay tuned for Glass in the Afternoon up next. I am Jim Coyle. Until Monday, I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.